Let's get started right away. As I mentioned in my last video, $13.83 is the support for Workhorse. We have seen it bounce a couple of times from that point. We saw it on July 2nd, on the 22nd of June, the 16th of June, 15th, 7th, and 3rd of June, to name a few days. And finally, yesterday, on July 6th, we again saw this as a support level where Workhorse ended the day off at $13.84. I think that with all the pressure, with all the momentum that we have seen, this stock has the ability to start moving on its way up, and I think that we could see that in the next couple of days where we'll see some green days. In the meantime, though, based on the analyst price target and taking the support levels into consideration, we may see some great traders going out and buying the dip up and keeping up this momentum. So next, we're going to dive into the data for Workhorse, including the short interest. And if you're getting value from this video so far, please smash that like button for me. It really helps out. In Ortex, we can see that the short interest percentage of the free float is currently sitting at 43.03%. This is a big increase from the previous day, as it is 15.03% up from that day, okay? So if we look at that, that's a huge change. I haven't seen really big changes like that in a while, so that is pretty impressive. If we look at the cost to borrow average, though, we can see that it is currently sitting at 6.84%. That's still pretty high. And also, the current days to cover is at 3.31 days. And finally, the utilization rate is at 89.82. And so all those numbers still pretty high for where Workhorse is at, especially that short interest change. My mind is just blown by that one alone. When we look at, we're now going to look at the order flow for this stock. Looking at this order flow, we can see that there's 0.10 million US dollars that were passed going in, inflow for the day, okay? And when I see those numbers, to me, it's okay, it was a slow day on Monday. If we look at the volume for the day, we only had about 8.5 million shares traded. So hopefully we can see more inflow in future days to come. I know that we did see a little bit more back on the 29th. So hopefully we got even more coming up later this week. With an average of about 19 million shares traded, 8.5 is pretty low, and I think that should be taken into consideration when we look at that order flow. So next, we're going to check out the movements of the day. Today was a pretty red day. We did have a drop for about 2.33%, but in the after hours, we did see a little bit of a comeback, and that's pretty interesting, and hopefully shows some bullish potential for Wednesday. For the day, we opened up at $14.21. Let me zoom in there on the day real quick. So we're going to look at the day. And yeah, so we can see here, right here, we started off at $14.21. And then a few minutes later, it jumped to the intraday high of $14.42. Unfortunately, after that, we were met with a lot of downward pressure, and at 9:45 a.m., we reached the intraday low of $13.50. We did see at that time that the RSI showed that this stock was oversold during that period, which makes a lot of sense, especially when you take in that the support level of $13.83 when you consider that. Then we did have a good upward movement where we hit all the way up to about 1435, and this made a soar past the VWAP, making the day seem kind of bullish. But then at 12:07 p.m., we went under the VWAP and we started bouncing. We started going up and down and up and down and up and down, and we kind of found a good area about 1380s, between 1380s and 14 price point for the rest of that day. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we did end up closing at 1384. Next, we're going to see the trending stocks of the day on Reddit. This shows the last 24 hours, the most trending stocks and mentioned stocks on Reddit. Workhorse Workhorse did have a decent drop, though. It dropped from 13 to 24. And again, you could say, hey, a lot of it's taken in consideration that it was a low volume day on Tuesday. So that is something that I am taking in consideration. However, as always, I ask to please, if you can, join our subreddit page if you haven't done so yet, and start sharing the good word about Workhorse. Right now, we have 9.4 thousand members, so some solid growth of about 100 members for the day. So please join the community and check it out. Next, we're going to look at something that I brought up in some of my other videos, but haven't yet brought up in my Workhorse videos. We're going to check out Option Sonar, which shows investor sentiment on the stock. As we can see, for July 16th, it's actually pretty bullish with $3.93 million. And the bearish is at 1.68 million. So I think that if we're going to see any gamma squeeze potential, that day, currently as it's showing, is the best opportunity to see something like that happen. For a short squeeze, let's check out Naked Short Report. Looking at the website, we can see that on July 6th, we have 56.9% of volume shorted. That is incredible and definitely shows that this stock has a very heavy potential to squeeze, especially when you add in the 15% change in Ortex, the high utilization rate in this. It all makes sense. It's starting to add up together. So my hopes are still high, very high for Workhorse actually, and I hope yours are too. If you have anything that you would like me to add into these videos about Workhorse, please comment down below. For a limited time, by the way, if you want 2 free stocks valued up to $2,300 from Webull by depositing $5, please use the link in the description below. Finally, if you like this video and want me to continue following Workhorses closely, please hit the like button and subscribe. As always, have a great trading day, you lucky people. Take care. Bye-bye.